So if you live on planet Earth like I do, you realize that the Earth has many ways of throwing dangerous things at us, with tornadoes and volcanoes and earthquakes and tsunamis all being equally bad natural disasters the world over. But still, nothing compares to the raw power of hurricanes. Hurricanes are the largest storms our planet can possibly produce, and they affect millions of people every single year all over the world. Now, hurricanes have been a feared part of the summer ocean for hundreds of years, and somehow some people don't have the ability to comprehend how large and powerful hurricanes can actually grow to be. No offense to anyone there. So today I'm going to be showing you what hurricanes are, how they work, and how powerful they can possibly be. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. We'll start with what exactly a hurricane is. So by meteorological definition, a hurricane is a spirally shaped, rapidly rotating storm with a centralized area of low pressure. Now, depending on where you live, these storms are actually called different things. In the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific, they are called hurricanes, as most of you might be familiar with. In the Northwestern Pacific, they are known as typhoons. And in the Indian Ocean, they are called cyclones. Now, hurricanes also only form at certain times of the year. In the Atlantic, they usually form from June 1st to November 30th. And in the Pacific, they usually form from May 15th to November 30th. Now, hurricanes usually form at warm waters near the equator. This is because that hurricanes need warm water to fuel and gain strength. Now, hurricanes typically form when sunlight interacts with water, which causes it to evaporate and form clouds. And the heat and moisture from the surrounding ocean usually allows these to turn into thunderstorms. Now, the thing that makes it a hurricane is when warmer air rises, the cooler air sinks to try and replace it, which leads to a rapidly rotating circulation effect. And as the storm gains strength, it also gains wind speed. And if a storm's wind speed officially surpasses 74 miles per hour or higher, it is officially classified as a hurricane. So meteorologists use the Saffir-Simpson scale to rank hurricanes based on their wind speeds, with Category 1 on the low end and Category 5 on the high end. And they use this using their wind speed. Category 1 hurricanes usually have wind speeds from 74 to 95 miles per hour. Category 2 hurricanes usually have wind speeds of 96 to 110 miles per hour. Category 3s have wind speeds of 111 to 129 miles per hour. Category 4s have speeds of 130 to 156 miles per hour. And Category 5s have wind speeds of 157 miles per hour or even higher. This is dangerous because even the weakest hurricanes can cause structural damage to poorly built structures. The reason hurricanes can become so strong is because they typically have to travel long distances, especially in the Atlantic. In the Atlantic, hurricanes usually almost always form off the western coast of Africa and traverse the Atlantic over a period of several weeks. This gives the storm plenty of time to feed off warm water in the Atlantic, giving it plenty of time to strengthen before it strikes somewhere on the North American continent. Now, hurricanes typically do weaken when they begin to interact with land due to the fact that their supply of warm water is no longer available to them due to the interaction with land. We will now talk about the structure of a hurricane. So beginning with the outermost part of the storm are the rain bands, and as the name suggests, these rain bands cause rainy and windy activity around the area they affect. Closer to the center of the storm is the eye wall. The eye wall is the most severe part of the storm because it's right outside the eye, and this is where the strongest winds and heaviest precipitation are located. And located directly at the center of the storm is the eye. Now, surprisingly, the eye is actually the least severe and calmest part of the storm. People who have actually been inside of the eye of a hurricane have reported that it is eerily calm with light winds and few clouds. Now, this is due to the fact that low pressure within the eye causes outward flows of high pressure to be blocked, not allowing any winds to reach the inside of the eye. So now we will be taking a look at some historic hurricanes to just see how powerful they can possibly be. In U.S. history, the most powerful hurricane to ever strike the American mainland was Hurricane Camille back in 1969, which was a Category 5 and had speeds of up to 200 miles per hour when it struck the southern Gulf Coast. In the Pacific, 2 typhoons are actually tied with the strongest ever. Typhoon Tip in 1979 had peak wind speeds of 190 miles per hour before eventually striking Japan, and Typhoon Haiyan in 2013 actually rivaled Tip with peak wind speeds of 200 miles per hour before eventually striking the Philippines. But hurricanes can actually get more dangerous if they stall, which means to stop moving due to a lack of wind patterns in their certain path. A good example of this is Hurricane Florence back in 2018 when it struck the Carolina region and dumped over 30 inches of rain due to encountering a high pressure system. So not only can hurricanes grow to be powerful and strong with winds and rain, but they can also grow to be enormous in size. A good example of this in the Atlantic is Hurricane Sandy, which was only a Category 3, but when it struck New York back in October of 2012, it grew to be about half the size of Australia, leaving it to be the largest hurricane to ever develop in the Atlantic. As aforementioned, Typhoon Tip is the largest hurricane to ever develop in the Pacific. It grew to be about the entire country of India in size, which placed over Japan looks absolutely puny. But the scary thing about all this is that hurricanes will likely only grow to become stronger in the next few coming decades due to global warming and rising sea temperatures. So hurricanes will only potentially grow to be worse than they are now. But for now, only time will tell. Let's enjoy the weak hurricanes that we have.